After the runaway success of Gundam Build Fighters, it's only natural that there would be a second season of the show. And I just got done watching the first episode of Gundam Build Fighters Try. Should you be excited? Hell freaking yes! The first episode was incredible. It definitely captured the spirit of the first season in every possible way. And Gundam fans will not be disappointed by the amount of ridiculous fan service. It's just as good as the first season, and they're still using a lot of mobile suits that we haven't seen in a long time. The first episode did a really good job of introducing us to all of the main characters, while also giving us a lot of action. And I love the fact that they didn't have to explain too much about how Gunpla works, although it is interesting that the first episode of the second season is remarkably similar to the first episode of the first season, and that's because it basically follows the same plot. But it does open up with a massive Gunpla space battle, which is really exciting. There's tons of fan service, all types of Gundams and Gunpla fighting, but it's a great way to introduce us to our main female lead by the name of Fuu Mina Hoshi. And Hoshino is kind of a badass because she doesn't even have to use a Gundam model. She uses a powered-up gym. In fact, it's called the Powered Gym Cardigan. Looks like a normal gym mobile suit, except that it's covered with golden armor pieces, and it has the standard rifle and beam saber, but it can also fire off these small little balloons which look just like itself, which it uses as a distraction before she stabs you in the face with her lightsaber. She also has these massive boosters on her back, which she uses to literally plow right through opponents, and then at the very end of this battle, she runs into this one massive samurai Gundam who ends the battle right there. This was a great introduction to the main character. It showed us that she's going to be kind of a hard-ass, and I love the fact that the main character of this one is going to be female. Although it's kind of hard to tell who the main character is quite yet, although I want to say that this Reiji 2.0 character, Sekai Kamaki, is basically the sidekick of the season. He's very similar to Reiji in every sense. It looks like he's going to be one of the better fighters, especially when you see what he does at the very end of this week's episode. But he's very similar because he's a martial arts master, he causes a lot of trouble with some thugs, and then he gets forced to join Hoshino. And that's one of the premises of this week's episode, is that Hoshino is trying to gather a team together to join this Gunpla tournament, and it's supposed to be a three-man team. Obviously, it's going to be the three main characters they were talking about in this week's episode, Hoshino, Kamaki, and this other character by the name of Yuma Kousaka. Now, that name should sound familiar because that's actually the brother of China. Never mentioned him before, but it's okay because this guy is also awesome and he has his own awesome Gundam that you see at the very end of this week's episode. But, like I said, the first episode is real similar to the first episode of this first season, where there's this bully who comes in, he's messing with Hoshino, and then Hoshino and, not Reiji, I'm already confusing the two, they look so similar. Kamaki, they have to team up and fight against him, and what's really interesting is that Kamaki gets his Gunpla in an interesting way. He sees this massive glass case, and Hoshino says that he can choose a Gunpla, and when he does, he actually picks up this trophy which belonged to Sei and Reiji, and underneath it was this secret compartment which opened up, and inside was a Zeon mobile suit called a Dom. And I was really shocked when I saw this at first, because I was like, wow, the main character of this show, or one of the main characters, is going to use a lower level Zeon mobile suit as his main? It's pretty awesome, but there's also a twist for this at the very end of the episode. So, they're battling against this one douchebag, some dude who literally looks like he had a crap taken on his head, and his whole plan is he's trying to shut down the Gunpla Battling Club because he wants his plastic modeling club to take over. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it all leads to a really awesome battle, and this was the part of the episode that really got me pumped up, because even though Hoshino did some really cool things, it's really all about Kamaki right here. Because there's a really great scene where it looks like he's being beaten, and he even throws his weapon away and decides to just go fisticuffs with him. He goes full-on martial arts with him, and that's because apparently he's trained at this school, and that is something that's brought up in the course of the episode. He has a master who trained him in the ways of whatever the hell he's doing. It is kind of similar to the stuff we saw from Mao and Nils Nilsson in the first season of Gundam Build Fighters. But he does this one great move where he's charging him, and you can already see that there's parts of his armor that are breaking off, and you can see the RG system underneath has been activated, and he does this one badass punch that sends him flying across the desert. And you think that would be the end of the battle, but that's when Yuma finally decides to come in and interrupt with a massive beam rifle. And then suddenly, the Dom armor explodes off, and underneath is a Burning God Gundam. One of the main Gundams from G Gundam. One of the most ridiculous series of all time, and one that actually makes perfect sense to put in here, especially because that series was all about hand-to-hand combat, and that's what Kamiki is all about. And it's just a really great scene, because there's fire erupting in the sky, it just looks really nice, and they don't even go through the credits. They show you the rest of this really cool battle, where he runs up and does this really big punch. But before the battle can finish, Kamiki's sister actually comes in and interrupts the match, and something that I think is interesting, because they didn't really do it too much in the first season, is when someone actually, like, goes inside of the match, and I wanted to see what happened. It actually completely aborts everything, and it looks really funny when you see this, like, massive person just slam down in the middle of this gunpla battle. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. He gets dragged away, and then Hoshino reminds us that this was the day she decided these were going to be the members of Team Try. So what's the rundown on the first episode of Gundam Build Fighters? Set your GP base to badassery! This was a great first episode. It totally captured the spirit of what made the first season of Gundam Build Fighters so successful. And introducing all the main characters this week, they did a pretty good job. I love how they're mixing things up with a main female lead. And the only thing is, I'm still kind of confused about the whole Kamiki thing, because he looks entirely too much like Reiji to not be related to him. And I can't wait to see how this is all going to be connected. And I'm really interested to see how Sei and Reiji are actually going to come into the picture. If we're actually going to see them in this season, obviously they're going to be a little bit older, and I'm not sure if they had some sort of crazy plan in order to get Kamiki this mobile suit, although it is interesting that when he sees that Dom for the first time, he reacts very strongly to it. Otherwise, the thing that was really strong about this episode was the fan service. It was all over the place. I mean, just all the different mobile suits, the Gundam models, just the posters in the background. Gundam Wing, Turn a Gundam, freaking 8th MS Team. It's all over the place here, and I love that they're really paying respect to all the different versions of the Gundam anime franchise. And something that I'm really, really interested in seeing, and if they do this, it'll be really smart and it'll be great for their marketing, is that right now there's another Gundam that is airing at the same exact time. It is Gundam Reconquista in G. If they're smart, they will put one of those mobile suits in this show, or they will put the main mobile suit from that show, the G-Self, in there. And I just think that would be a great way to market that. I'd like to see some more Gundam Unicorn stuff. But the main characters, let's talk about them a little bit. Fuu Mina Hoshi. I like her a lot. I think she's really awesome. She seems like she's going to be a very fun character who's going to develop. She still has a sense of personality. That scene where she decided to actually tie up Kamiki was funny for a number of reasons. One, it's just funny because she tied him up and it's absolutely ridiculous. But two, it's funny because it also shows that she's kind of a psychopath. If you were to go in and edit that scene and change the music to something creepy and atmospheric, it would completely change the tone of that entire scene where she's trying to teach him about gunpla. But that's just me thinking in my weird ways. The other character, Yuma Kousaka. Just like his sister, he's very quiet. He's kind of hard to read, and he definitely seems like he's going to be like the big like rival of the show. Although it seems like he is going to join the team. Although I have a feeling that he's definitely going to have a lot of baggage, because one of the things you see from this week's episode is that he's sort of burnt out on Gundam. He doesn't care about it anymore. And I really hope that doesn't make him kind of like a downer character. But that's the other thing. There's 3 characters now. There's like a 3-man team that's going to have to work together. So I can't wait to see how that's going to work when they get to the actual tournament. Like, are they going to be tag teaming out, or are they just going to all be going in and having like a big free-for-all match? Is it all going to be on Final Destination, no items? I don't know. All I know is it's really exciting. I love the first episode. Great production value. Tons of action. There were a number of action scenes this week, which were all really exciting. The introduction of the Burning God Gundam at the end, the custom one. I'm not sure if it's Burning or God. All I know is it's the one from G Gundam, and it's freaking awesome. The fire effects looked really cool. I'm excited for this show. I'm glad it's back. And I'm really shocked that we already got the second season so soon, because the first season actually ended this year, only like last spring, so they've been working their asses off on making this work, and I gotta say, during the amount of time that they had to animate this, they're doing a really good job. Like, this isn't like mind-blowing or anything, like there's nothing like too complex or anything going on here, but it's all real clean, consistent, and it just looks really cool. So if you're a Gundam fan, check this out. If you loved the first season of Gundam Build Fighters, this is mandatory viewing because it's just as exciting as the first so far, and this is just the first episode, and I'm already amped up. When I first started watching the first season of Gundam Build Fighters, I didn't know what to expect. I was actually ready to hate it. and I went in actually really loving it to the point where it's like now my second favorite Gundam anime ever, and I know to a lot of hardcore Gundam fans that's really sacrilegious, but screw you. I love Gundam Build Fighters, and I am so excited that we now have this one and Reconquista NG airing at the same time, because now we get two completely different types of Gundams. Everybody gets what they want. The fun spin-off series and the more serious war-torn drama. So I'm giving the first episode of Gundam Build Fighters Try a 5 out of 5. Very good first episode, a little crazy with introducing a lot of characters, but still, it's really exciting, especially for fans of the first season. So check it out! Thank you guys for watching my review. If you like this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you guys watched the first episode of Gundam Build Fighters Try, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me in the comments section below. Did you have a favorite mobile suit they showed this week? Do you have a favorite new character? Remember guys, before you leave, go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you have not already. You can do that by clicking on our channel icon right up in here. It's probably around my hand somewhere. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.